So just here at the beginning, taking a couple of moments to move the body however would feel good. Maybe rolling the head or the shoulders, extending the legs or rolling the wrists. Whatever occurs to you that might feel good to release some physical tension. And then whenever you're ready, just beginning to find a way of sitting in your chair that you can be both relaxed and alert at the same time. So looking for a way of sitting that you can be comfortable, but not too comfortable. Maintaining some degree of poise or lifted quality in the body. It's a skill to be both relaxed and alert at the same time, and that's specifically the skill that we'll be practicing in this meditation. And then once you've found your posture, your way of sitting in the chair, just beginning to allow yourself to settle into your posture. And then we're just going to begin by moving the mind into the experience of just sitting here. So just allowing the mind to notice whatever it is that it notices about the experience of just sitting here. Perhaps noticing certain sounds, both in and beyond the room. And as we sit here, perhaps beginning to notice certain sensations that might be present in the body. And there's no good way to be feeling or bad way to be feeling. We're just kind of practicing, beginning to notice what's already there. What are you already feeling in the body? And even in the mind, just kind of noticing the thoughts that are kind of rising and falling right now for you in the mind. And then we're just going to begin to practice being a little bit more intentional or focused with our awareness. So just beginning by moving the mind down and into the feet. Just becoming aware or present for the feeling of your feet just resting on the floor. And perhaps seeing if there's any bit of wiggle room to just allow the feet to grow even just a little heavier on the floor. And noticing what that feels like. And then just beginning to move the mind up and into the legs. Just becoming aware or mindful of whatever sensations might be present for you right now in the legs. Perhaps it's the feeling of where the body comes into contact with the chair. Or perhaps noticing a certain degree of energy or fatigue that might be present in the legs. And just noticing. And then again, just as we did with the feet on the floor, just seeing if there's some ability to just allow the legs to fully release into the support of the chair and the feet on the floor. And then just moving the mind now up and into the belly, a place where most people are actually holding with more tension than is actually necessary. So just first becoming aware, mindful of whatever sensations might be present in the belly. Maybe you're hungry or full. Whatever it is, just noticing. And then just seeing if you can use this awareness to allow the belly to just soften, to just kind of flub out, even if it's just a little bit. And paying careful attention to what this feels like, this softening of the belly. We are, in a sense, retraining our bodies and our minds to be both relaxed and awake and alert at the same time. So getting familiar with what this feels like in the body. And then as the belly softens, you might begin to notice that you can actually feel the belly interacting with the breath. Maybe you can feel a slight expansion and release on the in and out breath. Perhaps you have to lift your mind a little bit up into the upper belly to actually feel the breath. It's no problem. We're not trying to force the breath down into the belly, just noticing where the breath naturally interacts with the belly. And just feeling it. And now just following the breath up and into the chest, or what we'll call the heart of the body. And just seeing if you can really feel the sometimes subtle sensations of the breath just kind of lifting and lowering through the chest or the heart of the body as we breathe. The expansion and the contraction of the lungs, or the shifting of the muscles in the chest or the back as you breathe. And we're just going to spend a couple of moments here just kind of staying with this feeling of breath here in the heart of the body. Everyone's mind is going to want to wander away from this feeling of breath. It's going to want to go back into thoughts and thinking about stuff. So here's the practice. I want you to go get your mind and practice moving the mind back to where you want it to be when you want it to be there, which for right now is on this feeling of breath here in the heart of the body. This is the practice of meditation, noticing when the mind wanders off and developing the ability to gently move the mind back, back to this present moment experience of the breath, the feeling of the body as we breathe. And if you start to feel tired or drowsy, you can just kind of open your eyes a little bit, enough to let some light in. And then just seeing if you can rekindle this mental focus on this feeling of breath in the chest or the heart of the body. This is where the skill comes in of being both relaxed and alert at the same time. And as any great skill, it takes some practice. So not letting yourself move too far into drowsiness or tiredness. Rekindling that sense of mental focus, that sense of paying careful and close attention to the feeling of the breath just rising and falling through the body as we breathe. And then just lifting the mind up and now into the shoulders. Just noticing whatever it is that you're feeling in the shoulders, maybe still noticing the rise and the fall of the breath. Or maybe noticing that the shoulders are tense or whatever it is. And then just lifting the mind now up and into the neck. And there's this place in the back of the neck where the neck has a tendency to grip and even overgrip the head. So just seeing if you can find this place in the back of the neck where the neck comes into contact with the head. And seeing if you can use your mind to allow those muscles in the back of the neck to just release their grip on the head, even if it's just a little bit. Your head might move a little bit as you do this. And just noticing what this feels like. And then just moving the mind into the jaw. And into the face. So much of our lives we're using the muscles in the face to project certain views. No one's looking at you right now or judging you. So what would it feel like to just allow the muscles of the face to just let go, to just soften? And then just seeing if you can find your breath just as it's entering and exiting the body as you breathe. So perhaps feeling it right at the tip of your nose, or a little bit further back into the sinuses or the back of the throat. And just spending a couple of moments here, just focusing the mind on this feeling of breath, just as it's entering and exiting the body as we breathe. Just practicing letting everything else go as you focus on this feeling of breath. Really giving it your full attention. And as thoughts come into the mind, just letting them go one after another by coming back to the simple feeling of breath. We're not trying to kill the thoughts or stop the thoughts from happening. We're practicing letting them go by coming back to this feeling of breath, just moving in and out the body as we breathe. Takes a certain degree of effort, I know. So just staying with it as best you can. This is us training the mind to be where we want it to be when we want it to be there, which for right now is just on this feeling of breath. The mind wanders, we simply refocus the mind. Mental stability doesn't come from just perfectly holding the mind on an object, but from an ability to bring the mind back when it's wandered. So just about one more minute. Perhaps taking a moment to reclaim that sense of uprightness in the body if you've started slouching. And then coming back to the breath, just as it's entering and exiting the body as we breathe. And then as the practice comes to an end, not even a rush to open the eyes, just taking a couple of moments here to move the body however feels good. Taking some moments to enliven the body. Noticing what that feels like. And then opening the eyes whenever you're ready.